I have a degree in exercise science, but if somebody held a gun to my head and said, make me the most durable runner and strength trainer that you possibly can through things that you've experienced that have worked for you, this is how we would build them a durability cake, starting from the ground all the way up, building a foundation. Starting with number one, not fancy whatsoever, but it's time on feet. And yes, that includes the amount of time that you're walking, the amount of time that you're on your feet with the job that you work throughout the day. If we can maximize the amount of time that we're spending on our feet week by week, we're going to build durability in the leg. Number two, and if you're not new here, you probably guessed it, we're going to go full body strength training. I have found for me the best way to do this is to have an anterior and a posterior focus day, with our posterior focus day either being on the same day of our speed work or the day after. The biggest key with full body strength training though is training through phases. So in our off season, we'll do more eccentric muscle damage. So like really slow lowering on our back squats, barbell RDLs, really building up the musculature. But during season, we're gonna focus on lower rep, higher weight, more intensity. And the biggest piece here is more intensity. You still have to train with intensity to maintain your muscle mass in these running race specific preps. Number three, for some reason, this still never gets mentioned when people talk about durability: nutrition. Probably the biggest piece, especially late in race, outside of your training specific work, is your carbohydrates and your electrolyte intake. I'm going to show you an example of how I break down my carbohydrate intake throughout the week in marathon prep right now. Tuesdays and Saturdays, you'll see that my carbohydrate intake is very high. My fat intake and fiber intake is lower. So I have more room for carbohydrates and race-specific preps. Number four, and people really don't talk about this either, is actually training your running weaknesses. Like, where are you lacking the most? If you come from a background and playing soccer, for example, you're going to have a lot more running-specific training than somebody who comes from a background and playing baseball. So if you need to work more on raising your ceiling, maybe you'll do more VO2 max work in the off season. If you need to work on actually not breaking down late in races, whenever you get into that race specific prep, you're going to do more marathon pacing or a little bit faster than your marathon pacing deep into your prep. So that way your legs are used to the demands of running your goal time late into training sessions. Lastly, at the very top here, I'm going to have cross training. And the reason it is at the very top is because I feel like this is a piece you can add at the very end whenever you've tapped out all other areas and you're very disciplined and dialed. We can add in things like a stair stepper here to actually still build more durability and aerobic volume on our legs without the running. And to add a little bit of an extra piece here, if we consider the candle at the very top, what type of running terrain are we running on? How much elevation are we getting in our running per week? A lot of people don't consider this. They run the same flat loop all the time and then wonder why their legs break down. I have done this. Make sure you are still running hills in your training and you're not avoiding the hard terrain.